Hey guys, before we get started with today's notes, there's one thing that I believe is going to help you a whole lot in terms of simplifying square roots. Okay, so today's learning target is write square roots in simplified radical form. Okay, so if we're really thinking about what a square root is, so a perfect square is any two numbers multiplied together that they're same number to produce that number. So, 1 times 1 is 1. So 1 is a perfect square. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4. So 4 is a perfect square. So what will help you is whenever you're doing this, remember what your perfect squares are. So just get in a habit of, on your notes, on your assignment, on a quiz, anytime you're doing this, to write down your perfect squares. So 1 times 1, 1. 2 times 2, 4. 3 times 3, 9, and so forth. So these shouldn't be too hard, and if they are, then just study them. Should be able to write these down fairly quickly. And we're just going to go to 12 times 12, which is 144. Okay, and I think you'll see that if we can do this using the perfect squares, it'll make it a lot easier. Okay, all right, so there's a couple of ways that you can simplify radicals. All right, this is the radical square root. Okay, well, you can split it up into prime factors. Okay, if you want. That's definitely a way to do it, all right? Well, using your calculator, just start dividing. So obviously 56 is divisible by 2, so 56 divided by 2 is 28. So what that means is I can split this up into 2 and 28. And we can keep going. Okay, I'm going to split it up into, and I'm just going to leave this radical here. 28 is also divisible by 2, so that's 2 and 14. And then 14 is, once again, you can divide 2 into it. So there's my original 2's, and then 2 times 7. Okay, so there's my prime numbers. All right, it's called prime factorization. So 2, 2, 2, and 7 are all prime numbers. Okay, so let's think of this as 2, 2, 2, and 7 all underneath a square root. Okay, well, in order for a number to come outside a radical, there has to be 2 of them. Okay, and they have to be the same. So what that means is, so these numbers match 2 and 2. So I can pull 1 2 out, and then what's left underneath is 2 times 7, which goes back to 14. And that is actually your answer. Okay. Now I'm going to talk about it a little bit different way, and you can actually choose which method you want to use. So another way to think of this is using your perfect squares. All right. So if you can figure out which number is the largest number from your perfect square that will go into 56 evenly, this is another way to think about it. Okay, so if I'm doing this in my calculator, then one thing we can, so if I switch to my calculator and I say, okay, what do I think goes into 56 evenly? So looking at my list, 56 divided by, 49, not even. Then I'm going to keep going down. 56 divided by 36, not an even number. 56 divided by 25 shouldn't go into it, doesn't. 56 divided by 16. I'm just using trial and error to see which one of these numbers will go into it. 56 divided by 9 doesn't. 56 divided by 4 does. Okay, 14 times, even numbers. So 4 is the largest perfect square that will divide into 56. So we can think of it this way. I can rewrite the square root of 56 as 4 times 14. Okay, and we know the square root of 4 to be 2. So the square root of 4 is 2. 14 does not have a square root in it. It is left underneath the square root. Same answer, two different methods. All right, let's look at number 2. All right, number 2, square root of 36. Well, 36 is in that list. Square root of 36 is 6. It is a perfect square. That one was nice and easy. All right, square root of 98. Okay, well, you can divide it by 2 as many times as you can, okay, if you want. So let's do that. So I'm going to come over here to the side. 98 divided by 2 is 49. 49 doesn't divide by 2, but it does divide by 7 evenly. There's 2 7s underneath there. Bring 1 7 out, so you get 7 square roots of 2, or 7 rad 2. If you want to think of it in terms of what's the largest perfect square that will go in there, well, the biggest perfect square that would go in there was 49. Square root of 49 is 7. Same answer, different way of thinking about it. Okay, different way of thinking about it. All right, let's look at number 4. Okay, so there's already a number outside of the radical, or the square root. All right, so basically you just ignore that number until another number is able to come outside the radical. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it there. All right, so if I'm looking at 300, okay, tens, hundreds, thousands, easy numbers to deal with. I'm just going to go straight to, I know 100 goes into 300 3 times. And I know the square root of 100 is 10. 10 times 10 is 100. So the square root of 100 is 10. So a 10 gets to come outside of the square root, and then a 3 has to stay underneath. Once a number comes outside, the other number that was already outside is multiplied times that number that did just now come outside. So 5 times 10 is, oops, not 15, 50 square roots of 3. Okay, 50 square roots of 3, and that is the answer. All right, now, one way you can check this is by using your calculator. Your calculator will not do this for you. This is actually something you have to use your brain for, but I will show you how to check it using your calculator. So the original question was 5 radical 300, and the answer is 50 square roots of 3. Okay, so I'm going to put 5 square roots of 300 in my calculator, and it's going to be a decimal, and that's fine. Decimals are numbers. 86.6. The answer I got was 50 square roots of 3. Whoops, not that. Square root of 3. And you get the same number. Okay, and that is a quick way to check your answer. If the original question and your answer are the same number and it's completely simplified, there are no more perfect squares underneath the radical, then you got it right. Okay, let's look at the next one. 4 square roots of 72. 4 square roots of 72. Okay, well, I'm going to write this one a little bit differently. All right, 72 does have a perfect square in it, 36. Try it, all right? I'm not going to go through step by step now. We're kind of getting the hang of it. So I'm going to write it as 4 outside the square root. 36 goes into 72 2 times. So notice how I'm just splitting up the radicals. Nothing wrong with that. You can multiply radicals together. Okay, well, the square root of 36 is 6. 4 times 6 is 24. That gives us an answer of 24 square roots of 2. All right, let's look at number 6. Okay, notice we get some variables in here now. Okay, well, nothing wrong with that. This is an upper level math class. So I would suggest you think of the numbers and the letters separately, okay? So one thing you can do is you could just deal with square root of 24 separately. I'm going to deal with square root of c to the 7th separately. So square root of 24, there is a perfect square that does go into 24, and the biggest one is 4. So what that means is the square root of 4 times the square root of 6 is the square root of 24, and we know the square root of 4 to be 2. So 2 square roots of 6. All right. Now, let's just leave that there. We'll put it together with our letters here in a second. All right. Well, remember what I talked about in terms of prime factoring. So we're going to use that concept in order to take the square root of variables. Okay, so one thing you can do is you can think of c to the 7th as 7 c's. Okay, 7 c's multiplied times themselves. Now, in order for a c to come outside the square root, there has to be 2 of them. So here is 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 pairs. Okay, so what that means is c to the 3rd gets to come outside the radical, and a c to the 1st power, or just plain c, stays underneath the radical. Okay, now we put them together. 2 c to the 3rd square roots of 6c. Okay, 2 c to the 3rd square roots of 6c. And that is the answer. Okay. Let's look at number 7. Okay. Lots of things going on here. 2 letters and a number. Okay, 2 letters and a number. All right. Now, I'm going to show you a little different trick with the letters here in a second, but let's go ahead and just deal with the number first. Okay, so we have square root of 72. Well, no 9 goes into 72, but that means 9 times 8. So there's also a perfect square in 8. So 9 is not the biggest. 36 is actually the biggest. So what that means is we have the square root of 36 times the square root of 2. So we get 6 square roots of 2 for your number. Okay, let's look at the letters, and we can look at these separately too. So c to the 9th, all right? So instead of writing out 9 c's because it gets long, let's just take out an even number of c's. So c to the 8th times c to the 1st is also c to the 9th. Well, what is half of 8? Well, half of 8 is 4. So in order to take out the number of c's, you can take out 4 of them, because imagine there would have been 8 of them lined up together. So the c's simplify to c to the 4th power, rad c. We can do the same thing with the d's. We got d to the 13th. Rewrite it as d to the 12th, d to the 1st. 6 d's get to come out. 1 d is underneath. Then we have all our letters, so we put them all together. 6 is outside, c to the 4th is outside, d to the 6th is outside. There's a 2, a c, and a d underneath. If you can do that one, the rest of this will be quite simple. Okay. We usually write our letters when we have multiple letters just in alphabetical order. Just makes it easier. That way we're doing the same thing across the... All right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pause the video and try them, okay? This next column, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. They're the same types of problems as 1 through 7 were. So I want you to try it. So I want you to pause the video, try number 8, then check your answer. I'm going to work it out live, but pause the video so that you're actually trying it on your own. Okay, and do that for each one. Pause it, work it out, then hit play and see if you got it right. Okay, so hit pause now, work out number 8, and then hit play after you've worked it out. Remember, with the number ones, you can always check it using your calculator. Plug in the given problem and your answer, and if those numbers are the same and you believe yours is completely simplified, then you're probably correct. All right, well, hopefully you had success in those. If you didn't, good thing about a video is you can always rewind it. Go back, watch it again, practice them again. Okay, make sure you do your homework. I will see you tomorrow. If you have any questions, please come and see me during advisory. I'm always available and willing to help. See you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.